Before I get into today's video, remember to follow me on Twitter. So my Twitter, the link is in the description below. You can also find me. My handle is @JacksonKruger. Come over, say hi, and anyways, back to your regularly scheduled video. All right, so Micah Parsons has looked awesome in the preseason, quite frankly. It's to be expected, I think, but he's even shown me some stuff that I didn't see in college. I think he's gotten better in the NFL. So he's improving at things that maybe, could be weaknesses. There were people who had weaknesses, and we'll get into that in a second, and how I think that the preseason has shown they're not big deals. I think Micah Parsons looks electric. He's a really talented prospect. I did have him as my favorite defensive player in the draft, and that wasn't me specific. A lot of people felt that way, even though he wasn't the first defensive player gone. But yeah, let's just get into the film study and talk about what I like about Parsons so much. So we'll start things off with this play. So what's going to happen here is he's going to be blitzing, and he's actually, they're showing blitz. He's going to have a one-on-one matchup against a center. So if he's a defensive tackle, you would consider this a good matchup, given the fact that the center, it takes a second for him to get his hands back up. But obviously, he's not a defensive tackle. He's a linebacker. So you actually consider this a favorable matchup for Houston, even though it is a center one-on-one blocking, given the fact that it's a linebacker who he's going up against. But for Parsons, he does a lot really well, and he is the kind of guy where I remember one of the reasons I was a big fan of him in terms of his tape at college is he just blows stuff up. Look, he's going to sort of get to one side of the center right here, and it's not like he's winning this matchup. It's not like he's going to get this immediate pressure, but he's basically just taking away an area for Taylor to go, the quarterback to Rod Taylor. He can't step up in the pocket right here. Parsons has completely blown that up. So if no other Dallas player is winning their matchup, then it's not going to matter. Taylor will be fine. But he's doing more than what you would expect a linebacker to do in this situation. That's how I would phrase it. And not just that, but watch how he eventually gets out of this, and he's actually going to, rush Taylor out, and Taylor had to rush that throw a little bit. So again, that entire play wasn't because of him, but he certainly did his part in that play getting disrupted, which is one of the many things you have to like about Parsons. You also have something like this, which this is a small thing, but I actually am very happy I saw this. So it's going to be zone coverage. You have a receiver running kind of over the middle, and Parsons is expecting a running play here. That's an important thing to note. So obviously Parsons, that's the white circle. He's covering that area of the field, and he's expecting a running play. So you could see how this play could go horribly wrong, right? He goes too far in. It turns out to not be a running play. They throw over. There's going to be a big gap. They make that play. That's how this play could potentially fail for Parsons. And the reason why this is so notable and so important to bring up is a big criticism that Parsons got and still gets is his coverage ability, especially in zone coverage. You put him on one guy, he'll be fine. But the reason why people had other linebackers ahead of Parsons in the draft, not a lot of people, he was the consensus #1 linebacker, but there were people who had other off-ball linebackers ahead of him. And the biggest reason was because they felt like he couldn't succeed on plays like this. And watch what's going to happen. Parsons does move in a little bit, right? He takes a step in and then realizes, oh shoot, this is not a running play. What do I do right here? This is not a good situation. However, I think Parsons is going to do a great job of recovering on this play. Watch him simply just get back and get back into position covering up 16 right there. You saw him look over his shoulder a little bit, see where he was, and take away that route while still being able to look at the quarterback if he had to. That's good stuff. And quite frankly, this does appear to be something that linebackers can learn. You see Devin White is a perfect example. He really struggled with this stuff all the way until really at the end of last season when he got way better and just kind of went off in that postseason run with Tampa Bay. And then you have stuff like this, where this is a pretty simple play, but the reality is it's just hard to run these types of plays when Micah Parsons is on the other team, because it's just going to be a quick wide receiver screen. The Cardinals love to do this stuff, but if they play Dallas in an actual game, it'll be really difficult to do this stuff because you want to have the left tackle go out to block the linebacker, but the reality is Parsons is faster than whoever you have at left tackle. Watch how this is going to be a quick throw over, but Parsons just beats 74, the left tackle, to the spot, and he's going to run the wide receiver out of bounds. So again, it's that speed. He's so explosive. He makes reads very quickly, and he can make plays like that at an extremely high level. He really can. And something like this is good too, where, again, the one issue you can have, which I think is a fair criticism, is could he get fooled on play actions badly? But he will make his decisions in the running game very quickly. And it seems like so far he's done a good job of, when it is play action, getting back quickly as well. So on this play, it's going to be, you have the center and left guard who are going to double team a defensive lineman. One then gets off the defensive lineman and blocks Micah Parsons. He's the linebacker who eventually the guard is going to try and block. But watch how Parsons just blows by him and he's able to clog up that gap and make the tackle. That's a highlight reel level play if I've ever seen one. I mean, the fact that he got there quickly, and then even when the guard was able to get there, he kind of shoved him aside and then makes the tackle as well. I mean, if he just did one of those three things, that would have been impressive. I would have put that in the video. The fact that he made all three of those things work so well, just a tremendous play from Parsons. And then you have stuff like this, where you have the left guard, once again, he's going to have a rough time here trying to block Parsons. It's going to be a halfback draw right here. So you have the guard could just go up the one-on-one block Parsons. About as simple as it gets. However, watch how right when this play starts, Parsons just going to sidestep him like that, and he makes the tackle. Again, it's just really tremendous stuff. He can move like a safety, he can move like a DB, but he tackles like a linebacker. It's a truly remarkable thing, and there's a reason why I had him as my favorite defensive prospect. I think he is that good. I think that there were teams that honestly probably passed on him that maybe shouldn't have, because I think that he's tremendous. And again, it's not necessarily a position of need for Dallas, but hey, they got a tremendous player, at least from what we've seen so far on tape in college and into preseason. The NFL is different, but so far, that's what we have. So yeah, that's how I feel about Micah Parsons. Big fan of his tape. Again, off the field issues aside, he's done an incredible job. I think he's so explosive, so electric, and I do think that he's someone who could be terrorizing the NFC East for a long time. And it kind of is that weird Dallas Cowboys thing, right? Of they tend to draft best player available. On one hand, it tends to lead to their roster being pretty inconsistent. On the other hand, it leads to them getting some really good players consistently. So that's the pros and the cons. But I think that, again, whether you like that idea of team building or don't like it, seems like they got a stud in Parsons from what we can see in preseason. So yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Micah Parsons? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.